Seeing none, this is a time set aside for public comment. Anyone in the audience that wishes to... oh. Start with Gwen Williams, if you would, please. Progress on the health impact assessment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm Gwen Williams with Public Health Muskegon County, and I wanted to give you a very, very brief update on how we're doing with the health impact assessment. We have now had 5 meetings, and the first work product that we have had, Keith shared with me after the last meeting that it may not have come to your attention. It was placed on SharePoint, but it wasn't officially presented to you, so I wanted to do that today. That is the site selection criteria. I spoke before that without having more definite sites to compare, our group couldn't really, suggest one site over another. So we came up with some criteria, and that's what this sheet is that I wanted to share with you. And the other piece that I wanted to share with you is more of a work in progress, and that is these pathways, as we call them. And the point of the health impact assessment is to take a look at all of these plan elements and to talk about how they affect health outcomes through incarceration and recidivism. And so we break down many of these plan elements and talk about different research questions as they relate to the plan elements. So as I mentioned, I'm just sharing this with you now. It is still a draft. Our team, our committee is in process of narrowing down the research questions, and then we hope to have some better answers to bring back to you, some recommendations based on that research. Our intention at this point, we've spoken with Joe from our QAW, and we plan to just share the drafts of these pathways at the charrette by basically just putting them up on the wall. So people will have an opportunity to see what we're doing in the health impact assessment, to think about some of these questions, and to get back with us if they have input or other suggestions about it.
So you have shared them with Joe at this point?
Yes, yes. Joe has come to the meeting we had today, and 2 other representatives from his company came to our last meeting.
Great, thank you. Questions of Williams? Next is Matt Creed.
Good afternoon. I'm looking at this agenda that was just passed out, and well, it certainly is extremely comprehensive and goes into probably almost any type of detail you could want for the jail. There's 3 things that are missing from it. One thing that's missing is that there's no discussion of the impact of the prosecutor's office on the people that are being prosecuted. Secondly, there's no comment here about the presiding judges, those who set the initial bonds in district court for these people, and then the circuit court judges and district court judges, of course, that go ahead and sentence people. And then there's no discussion about the public defender system. You're taking a look at a chair, and you're dealing with one leg of it here. There's actually 3 more legs that have to be considered, and they're not being considered in near as much detail as you're considering this one leg of it. You're taking a look at the jail and saying, hey, look, we need either a new facility or an improved facility. And this is the first day that I've heard that now the number is 600 beds, expandable to 850. Well, we don't have that much crime in Muskegon County. Hopefully, I don't know if we're planning some kind of a big crime wave that nobody's told anybody about, but we don't have that big of a crime wave here. And for those of you that have been on the commission a while, you're aware that the present jail for a long time was hovered around 225 to 250 beds, and then it got expanded to 400. That's a pretty big boost. Now you're talking to go ahead and add another 200 beds and then expand it beyond that. That is, so there's not, like I said, you're looking at one leg of this. Now let's take a look at some of the other ones. The prosecuting attorney. There's a situation, it's public knowledge, that one of the former circuit court records staff is being charged with tampering with the computer, and what she did essentially was change something on one of her own cases. Now, she was fired for that. That may or may not be the correct thing to do. She's also been charged with 2 felonies. Now, is somebody going to go, this speaks to the prosecution, but this is, even though nobody from the committee is, to my knowledge, on the prosecutor's staff, this still has to be discussed.
Mr. Crehan, would you address your remarks to the jail and to the committee at this point?
Okay,
Please.
Well, I'm trying to expand on what you're doing. If you're just,
I think we understand that. I think you made that clear from the beginning.
well, if you're going to charge somebody like that with 2 felonies, chances are they're going to wind up in jail. Now, my focus is on keeping people out of jail that don't belong there. The first thing that has to be done here is, what's the right number? Is it 400? Is it 350? What's the right number of jail beds? 600 is not the right number of jail beds, and it's not a greater number than that. It's a lower number than that. It's a much lower number than that. That's what has to be. First, you have to determine how many beds you need and go from there. Now, who do you ask for that? Well, you don't ask the judges, because whatever bed is there, he'll fill up, or she'll fill up, one way or the other. If there's an empty bed there, it's getting filled. So you ask the prosecutor? Well, no, the prosecutor's job is to go ahead and prosecute. He'll fill up every bed he can fill up. What about the police? Well, their job's to arrest. If there's an opening, if they know there's open beds, they're going to arrest rather than go write an appearance ticket. Well, there's one more leg to this stool I haven't mentioned yet. That's the public, us. Not somebody that works for the county, not somebody from the design team, the public. When I go on the sheriff's website and I see 2 people in there because they were riding around with an open receptacle, I don't want them in jail. I'm not afraid of them.
Okay, well, I appreciate your input. I'm not sure that it's germane to what we're discussing here today. And for that reason, I think I'm going to ask that you will take your comments. You've made them. You've expressed your opinions. We're happy to have them, happy to receive them. But I think we need to move on. There are other people who wish to address this group as well. So
okay,
thank you.
Okay, Mr. Snyder, but these comments aren't going to be going away by me stepping away from the podium. What I'm talking about needs to be developed in much greater detail than just the issue you're talking about as far as expanding this.
Well, there are other sources, and this is being addressed in other areas as well. So thank you very much.
Where are they being addressed in other areas?
If you would be happy to see me afterwards, I'd be glad to tell you about them.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person is Dan Mills.
Well, hi. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, my name's Dan Mills. I walked in, I was a little bit late. Took the afternoon off of work again to see you. But I got here and I heard gentlemen promising lots of information. And that sounds so good, because I've been hearing that since the first meeting I've attended here having to do with the jail. That was May 17th for the Citizens Review Committee meeting. And then it was the Administrator Hammersley who was promising lots of information and actually excusing herself for not having that information yet. But she was going to get that, and she even described herself as the vehicle for information. She was going to be the one who was going to deliver the information to the Citizens Review Committee. And this is on a video. It's online, but I took it that
Are you addressing the jail issue, Mr. Mills, please?
Well, I'm not talking about dogs and cats. Yeah, I'm talking about the jail, actually. That's why I'm here. That's why I took the afternoon off to work. Yeah, and so like I said, I came in and I heard this promise for more information. Now, the people who were the Citizens Review Committee members were interested in, and the people in the public who were attending that meeting were interested in getting information for sure. But not the kind of information that I heard being promised today. I couldn't count how many times cost, savings. But the questions that the citizens were concerned about is, why are they in there? What are they being done? Why is it so poorly mismanaged? Why is it in such bad condition? And so this information is still not available. Now, the Citizens Review Committee had a meeting scheduled this week, and it was canceled because there was no information. The last Citizens Review Committee, jail committee, was postponed a week because no information. There's no information still, but we're promised again more information, but this is going to be about dollars and cents. Okay, now, when this information is made available at this charrette that we keep talking about, I got to tell you, I'm going to look at it askance, because I'm not so sure that you have my trust. And I will tell you what, for instance, at the committee meeting that I attended, the chairman of this committee, chairperson, was saying how horrible, her words, that condition is in that jail. She said, quote, I wouldn't have my Pomeranian in there. She said it violated codes, it violated human rights. Now, that sheriff, this right here says, we've never been cited for anything. And so I know there's a big difference.
Okay, I think, Mr. Mills, that we're aware of that history.
Well, and I know you don't want to hear actual citizen reviews, even though you have a citizen review committee, which is a propaganda tool that doesn't meet because it isn't doing that function adequately. But you'll have to excuse me, sir, that the citizens I know are outraged at this travesty, blowing this past the voters. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would care to address this committee?
I have a question. Similar to what Mr. Crehan was talking about, my name is Toby Fraser. I'm just wondering where the spike in crime or spike in population has been that requires so many more beds being put in the jail. Again, we've been promised tons of information. It sounds like you even have it, and you're supposed to be the one to give it to us on the citizen committee, but we haven't seen it. So where is it? Where is the spike in crime or population that requires so many more beds? Who knows?
They're not going to answer you, man.
Dog and pony show.
Clearly you know how to talk. So what you got?
Oh, absolutely, we know how to talk.
You have to
Great.
talk to them in
Okay.
private, Toby. They won't talk to you in public.
Okay, I'll talk to you afterwards.
Afterwards,
everybody
in
wants to
private.
know.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
I make a motion that you answer the people's questions.
This is our county, not yours. This is our county.
The motion say yes?
No.
Our county.
What is your problem? How do you not talk to people when they want to know what's
Shame
going
on
on?
you.
Shame.
All you want.
Shame.
This is a dog and pony show.